Quick, name the evil Greek god. You said this guy, didn't you? The god of the dead, lord of the underworld, the dark, scary one. Except, here's the thing. Hades might be the single most unfairly hated god in all of mythology. Because while his brothers were starting wars, flooding cities, and turning into farm animals to flirt, Hades was basically just doing his job, quietly, for eternity. So why does he have the worst reputation on Mount Olympus? And was the underworld actually the nightmare everyone thinks it was? Stick around, because by the end, you might owe this guy an apology. Let's get into it. Okay, meet Hades, god of the dead, king of the underworld, and the older brother nobody on Olympus invites to parties. He's one of the big three brothers, alongside Zeus and Poseidon. And if you saw our last video, you already know how the three of them split up the universe. They drew lots. Basically, they gambled for reality. Zeus got the sky, Poseidon got the sea, and Hades got the underworld, the realm of the dead, the one nobody else wanted. So right from the start, the dude got dealt the gloomiest job in the universe, and somehow that became his entire personality in every story ever since. But here's the part that's gonna flip everything. Hades didn't complain. He went down there, and he actually got good at it. So when you hear the underworld, you're probably picturing fire, screaming, eternal torture, the works. But that's actually not the Greek underworld. That fiery torture pit idea came way later. The Greek underworld was more like a giant, very organized waiting room, with zones. Let me give you the quick tour. First, to even get in, you had to cross a river, and you needed to pay the ferryman, a guy named Charon. Yeah, the afterlife had a toll booth. No coin? You're stuck wandering the shore. Forever. Which is why the Greeks buried their dead with a coin in their mouth, basically prepaying for the ferry. Ancient Greek public transport, baby. Then you'd pass Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog. Adorable if you're coming in, absolutely not letting you leave. And then you got sorted. Because here's the thing people miss. The underworld wasn't one size fits all. Where you ended up depended on how you lived. Most regular people went to the Asphodel Meadows, a sort of gray, neutral in-between. Not great, not terrible. Honestly, sounds like a Monday. The genuinely bad people went to Tartarus, the deep prison pit at the very bottom. That's where the actual punishment happened. So yes, there was a bad place, but you had to really earn it. And the heroes and the genuinely good? They got Elysium, a straight-up paradise. Sunshine, feasts, eternal chill. So the underworld wasn't a torture dungeon. It was more like the universe's fairest sorting system, and Hades ran the whole thing. And here's where Hades gets weirdly likable. Because as a ruler, the guy was fair. He didn't play favorites. He didn't throw tantrums. He didn't smite people for fun. He just made sure everyone ended up exactly where they were supposed to. Honestly, he might be the only Greek god with a functioning work ethic. Compare that to his brothers. Zeus zapped people over arguments. Poseidon sank entire fleets because someone was rude to him once. Meanwhile, Hades is down here going, "Please take a number." That's a key point, actually. Hades wasn't death itself. He didn't kill anybody. He wasn't going around ending lives. He just managed what happened after. He was less Grim Reaper and more extremely committed civil servant.
I don't cause the deaths. I just do the filing.
But running the loneliest realm in existence had one big downside. It was really, really lonely down there. And that loneliness is what leads to the most famous and most controversial story Hades is ever part of. So one day, Hades looks up at the living world and sees Persephone, goddess of spring, daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest. and Hades is instantly, completely smitten. Now, here's where Hades makes his big mistake. Instead of, talking to her, he goes to ask her dad for permission, gets a yes from Zeus, and then decides the romantic move is to open the ground and bring her down to the underworld. Yeah, not his finest plan. We're not defending the method. But up top, Persephone's mom Demeter completely loses it. And since she's the goddess of the harvest, when she's upset, every crop on Earth dies. The first winter, basically, was a mom being furious. So Zeus, realizing humanity is about to starve, steps in to broker a deal. But there's a catch. While she was down there, Persephone ate a few pomegranate seeds. And there was an ancient rule. Eat the food of the underworld, and you're partly bound to it. So they work out a deal. Persephone spends part of the year in the underworld with Hades, and part of the year up top with her mom. And that, according to the Greeks, is why we have seasons. When Persephone's with her mom, the world blooms. When she goes back down to Hades, the world goes cold. The entire concept of winter is basically a long-distance relationship. And here's the genuinely surprising part. In most versions of the myth, Hades and Persephone end up one of the most stable, loyal couples in all of Greek mythology. No cheating, no drama, no turning into a swan. Compared to literally everyone else on Olympus, these two were relationship goals. So let's go back to the start. The evil god, the villain, the scary one. When you actually look at the receipts, he ran the fairest system in the universe. He didn't kill anyone. He kept his word. He was loyal to his partner. He's arguably the least villainous god in the entire pantheon. So why the bad rep? Honestly, mostly vibes. He ruled over death. Death is scary, so people assumed he was scary. And later stories, and a few thousand years of the dark realm equals the bad guy, did the rest. But the real Hades? He wasn't a monster. He was just a quiet guy with a hard job, a loyal heart, and the worst PR team in history. His realm wasn't a nightmare. It was orderly, it was fair, and for the good people, it was even paradise. Maybe getting the underworld wasn't the worst draw after all. So next time someone calls Hades the evil one, you can be the person who goes, "Actually," and then becomes very unpopular at the party. You're welcome. And hey, if Hades got this misunderstood, imagine how messy his brother Poseidon's story gets.
Finally, my turn.
Sea monsters, grudges, and a temper that sank entire cities. Simplified stories. See you in the next one.